Digital coffee. That's all the social media news you need to know this week. I broadcast live every Friday, 9:30 a.m. So thank you for joining me. We've got a busy news session today. We've got lots and lots of different types of Facebook news. We've got lots and lots of Instagram news, and Twitter is making an appearance as well. I hope you enjoy the show. If you know somebody that would be interested in watching, please do click the share button underneath. You can share it onto your timeline. You can share it onto Twitter. You could share it into a group you run. You could share it onto your business page. So if you know someone that would like the digital marketing news, let me know. And I can see somebody has joined us. Hello, thank you for joining. It's really weird because it's been a couple of weeks since I've been live and there's all these new features and I've got a brand new phone. And the quality of the image on my brand new phone which isn't so good for me. It's telling me I should put a mask on. I'm wondering if that is a hint from Facebook. Now, if you're joining me, it is traditional to tell me what you're drinking. For me this week, it's a lovely cup of coffee. Lovely cup of coffee. And usually I hoover it up before I start. But this week I still have some left, so I shall be consuming it. It's Good Friday, so happy Easter, and I really appreciate you joining me on a holiday. But that also means in Ireland, officially we're not allowed to drink. So the temptation is always to have a glass of wine. Hey Kate, thanks for joining. What have you got? Are you going to have a glass of wine to celebrate Good Friday because we're not allowed to? This is actually coffee. I was very tempted though, but I thought maybe not. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the news because that's why you're here after all. And of course it would always help if I unlocked my iPad before I started. Okay, number one in my news is that there's a new ad type now available. You've got tea, Kate. That's good. There's a new ad type available in this symbol means instant articles. So instant articles, just in case you aren't familiar with them, are you can hook it up to your website so that when an article publishes out on Facebook, or when you can post a link to Facebook, when people click it, they don't have to leave to go to your website to view that. Now, there is a WordPress plugin that lets you do this, but it's still a complicated process and I haven't quite got there yet. However, you're having wine later, it's a bit early now. Yes, well, indeed, that's why I've gone for the coffee. But for anyone that's watching that isn't in Ireland, it's kind of traditional to drink on Good Friday, even if you wouldn't normally, because we're not allowed to. That's just the thing. Okay, so back to these instant articles are these versions of web pages from your site that they load fast and they sit within Facebook. And Facebook has a revenue share going on there, so you're able to place ads within this. And they've just added a new unit that you can add to your instant articles, which will allow people to subscribe with a call to action to subscribe to a mailing list, or with a call to action to download an app. So it looks kind of cool. I'm sure it will develop from here. John Loomer has just published an article on how you set this up. And I think it's kind of a helpful ad type rather than just like, you know, buy my stuff. You can actually encourage people to go and get their free download and add them to your list. So I think this is a good update from Facebook. So my first one of April. Thumbs up, Facebook, you did a good job. You know what, I'm almost getting used to this non-mirror image thing now. It's kind of cool. On to my Twitter bit of news, because we don't have Twitter news that often. Well, not every week anyway. So on to Twitter, who have done something kind of clever. So it's not always we have good news about Twitter, but this is a good one. They've introduced a product called Twitter Lite. And Twitter Lite is, you go to the website, and when you access it on your phone, you don't need a big data connection in order to look at Twitter. And this is kind of a big thing because, you know, often I'll go to Twitter and it will say tweets aren't loading right now, or the image is you know, they eat your data because it's become such a media heavy platform. It seems strange to those of us that have been on Twitter a long time, because it all used to be text, it all used to load very fast, even on a low connection. So obviously they feel like they're losing people because of that issue. So what they're doing now, and let me just get my notes to remind me, is that all you need to do is access Twitter via the web, and this kicks in. So rather than via your app, you could just go in through Chrome or Safari or whatever browser you're using, and it's going to show you a little kind of preview of an image before it loads it, and if you tap it, it will load it in full. So it will kind of be a pixelated version of the image, which won't take up much of your data to load. This is great, smart stuff from Twitter, because one of the markets they wouldn't be large in are those countries that we know don't have massive internet connection. And every time I say that, we're thinking we mean India or South America, where in fact we could mean Ireland, couldn't we? Because I'm hearing more and more about people not being able to get a good data connection or any sort of broadband within Ireland. I had a long conversation with someone at the social media summit about that too. So I think this is good for everyone, even us living in Ireland. Even, you know, sometimes even in Dublin city centre, the 3 signal, who's my mobile provider, doesn't seem to be good, and it'll take ages for stuff to load. So I can see I'll be feeding my Twitter addiction on the go a lot more using this. So that's Twitter Lite. And that means for us, from our point of view, that's kind of good. Because if we were worried about putting too much image or video, or if we were alienating people with a low internet connection, we know now that we don't need to worry about it so much. But still, bearing in mind that a lot of people, particularly in Ireland, do have bad internet connection, I'd never put up an image without a bit of text. And I see this happening on Twitter these days. You know, always add a text description about the image along with your link. Okay, I met Murray Smith during the week, so I'm trying something a little bit different on Murray's advice. Yeah, I am just showing off that I met Murray Smith. I had lunch with Murray Smith the other day, and she was suggesting that a good way to do marketing news is not just to read the things that have changed. I do think I do this a bit, but I'm going to be more focused on it now, not just to read the news, but also to say how it could apply to you as small businesses. So I am trying that out. I hope you enjoy it. Tip number 3 then, or news item number 3, is it's hard to relate to you, but is actually really relatable now I've remembered the key point of this. We've been talking about fake news ever since Trump and the election, haven't we? Yeah, fake news. And Facebook have been desperately trying to battle fake news because they took the heat for what happened over the election. So their latest thing is a little bit interesting and a little bit worrying from a page point of view, because it looks like it's going to affect the algorithm. So they're trying to put in place ranking improvements, is what they're calling it, to try and filter out fake news from the news feed. And one of the ranking elements they're putting in place is that when people read but don't share your article, which is most of the time, they're going to rank that lower because they're going to assume it might be fake news. Now, when I read that, it terrified me, because I'm like, well, nobody's going to ever see an article from me again then, because not everyone shares my articles. I do think that it's not going to be that simple. I think they'll base it on a load of people clicking. So it won't be just, you know, maybe you get 40 or 50 clicks. I'd say it'll be if you get 100 clicks and nobody shares it, that's going to be a signal. And of course they're going to put it in with the other signals they've introduced recently. Like you can report fake news, or you can, you know, you can try and get it verified. Does worry me though, because we know Facebook doesn't really want us to send people to our own websites. We know Facebook wants to own the web. We've got instant articles that I talked about right at the beginning. So could this be the nail in the coffin? We'll have to see. And you know who I'm going to blame? Okay, right, on to some Instagram news, and this is cool, and I see Kate's online, and that's good because I've sent her a few of these recently this morning when I was messing with it. Oh my God, it's so much fun. I remember why I love Snapchat now. They've introduced some new features to Instagram stories or Instagram direct. I have to show you my beautiful Instagram logo before I go on. Look at it. Spent hours drawing that this morning. Actually hours. Well, minutes. And this is cool. So if you haven't tried Instagram direct yet, which I hadn't really, I'll talk more about the direct inbox, but you can swipe left or right and you can create an Instagram story, or you can send a message, a disappearing message to someone. And when you do that, you take a picture of yourself, or you make a video of yourself, and you can annotate it like you can on Snapchat. So you can draw on it, you can put text, you can put stickers. So the first thing they've done, and I love this, because when I was using Snapchat, one thing I used to do is for every day I used to try and do an emoji. So this is one of my favourite ones. That's the one I created this morning. Now you can actually take a selfie and make a little sticker out of it. So you can have an image with a little sticker with the emoji on it. I'm going to share the one I made this morning in the comments once we finish here. But it is so cool. So basically, instead of you putting an emoji face, you can put, "Morning Laura, thanks for joining. Tell me if you've got tea or coffee," and you've just reminded me my coffee is getting cold. So you can actually make a little circle of yourself that goes as a sticker on your original image. So that would be, I did it with a picture of myself with the selfie. "Hi Finola, thanks for joining. It was lovely to see you the other day." So I put, it would actually work better if it wasn't a photo of you that you put the extra little stickers on, but it works really well. I will share that out now. When I finish, I'll stick it up here. Cold tea, Laura. Yes, my coffee's going cold, because normally I'd have it drunk before I started. Anyone on the wine? Or are we waiting till later? The other cool thing they've done is a Snapchat thing again. They've totally stolen it off Snapchat, but you can pin emojis or stickers to your videos on Instagram stories. So basically all you do is you put the sticker on where you want it to go on your video. You hold your finger down waiting. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. It was just so tempting this morning when I was going live. I always have a cup of coffee to go with the wine. But you put your finger on it, you hold it down, and then it stays in that position. So again, I made one of these earlier. I'll try and put it up. I'm not sure if I can put a video as a comment, but I'll try and put that little video up as a comment later. Great fun. Totally reminded me why I love Snapchat, but actually totally reminded me why I don't need Snapchat anymore, because I can do this stuff on Instagram if I want to. Really, two really cool new features. When I finish, don't leave now, but when I finish, go try this. It's so much fun. Honestly, it's Easter weekend. Why not just have fun with Instagram stories? Moving on then. I've got so much Instagram news, it's crazy. More Instagram news. I've got some Facebook Messenger news, and I've got some Facebook groups news. Any preference? Let's go with some more Instagram, because halfway through me telling you that bit of Instagram news, I realised there was something else I was supposed to tell you about Instagram, and that was Instagram Direct. So I don't really use this, you know. Instagram can be groups. Sorry Laura, I'll get to that next. I don't really use that function. I haven't used that function because I've got Messenger, I've got WhatsApp, I've got Twitter messages. They're the ones I use really. I haven't thought about using Instagram. But it's so much fun, as I discovered this morning when I was testing this stuff with Kate. So recently they introduced this thing where you could send a disappearing photo or video message to a friend. But it wasn't through the same inbox as the rest of the messages you could send on Instagram. Now they've put them all together. So everything happens within the same inbox. So I can be having a conversation with Kate, I can hit the camera button and I can send her a disappearing message. I like this. Again, another swipe at Snapchat, but let's face it, Instagram seemed to be doing it so much better. While I was in there testing this, I also noticed that you can set up groups within Instagram messages or Instagram Direct, which I would say was a swipe at WhatsApp, because we do that on WhatsApp. But then when you think about it, Facebook owns both. So maybe they're just trying to consolidate their products so they all do the same thing. Does this mean in the future we're just going to see one big kind of generic Facebook monster that does the same thing everywhere? Are they going to integrate it all eventually? It'd be interesting to find out. But all the more reason that we should be looking at tools like Instagram and WhatsApp, even if we're not ready to use them for business now. Okay, so Laura wanted groups. This isn't massively exciting. Well, it would be if you want to spend some money to go to Chicago. Here, I'm going to have to show you my beautifully drawn groups logo. I'm kind of proud of my board today. I think I might take a photo of it. So Zuckerberg is hosting an event in Chicago for Facebook group admins. There's only a couple of hundred spaces and you have to apply online. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because, in fairness, who's going to pay to go to Chicago to go to this? The reason I'm sharing this with you is it shows how committed Facebook are to groups. And I think there's two reasons for that. Number one, I think most of the stuff I do on Facebook these days happens within a group, whether it's for business or for pleasure. We like these little walled gardens now. We're not so happy about just sharing everything publicly. And it kind of harks back. Actually, it's interesting that Finola's there because we originally met on an internet forum called irishbusinesswomen.com. And we were talking, that's kind of like Facebook kills forums. That's what it does. But now with groups, we're becoming a lot more forum based again because we know our little areas we can go to find out about specific things. So they are like forums. The other reason, of course, is there's advertising space there that they're currently not using. They have said they are going to be rolling out ads there, which means they're going to encourage us to create more groups so there's more advertising space. I think that is their reasoning behind it. And we all know as businesses at the moment, Facebook groups are fantastic. They're really great. They give us that way to connect with our customers again that we may have lost from a Facebook page because people are less likely to comment publicly than they used to be in the past, even if they do see our content. The downside is, of course, with more groups, they're going to have to be more algorithm focused on it. So now, hi Connor, thanks for joining. Say hi. Are you drinking tea, coffee or wine? That is the big question of the morning. Do let us know. So that with this, they're going to roll back the reach that we get in our groups, I think. And how they're going to be able to make the transition between what's a business group and what's a personal group, I don't know. But I just know, although it's good news for us at the moment that we can use them, probably in the future we're going to see algorithm kick in. Okay, moving on. Well, I'm going to talk about this one because I see it written at the bottom as a reminder that I really, really must talk about Apple Clips. Apple Clips, every now and then an app comes along and social media explodes. And your first of many coffees today. Well, cheers, Connor. Let's have coffee together. Now, this, yes, where was I? Drinking coffee was where I was. Oh, Apple Clips, yeah. So this is Apple Clips, which I think is, it's going to explode for a little while. Let's see where it goes. What is it? Well, it's an app that takes Square video, and the Square video, as you speak, it captions it automatically. And it's pretty good. I did a test one yesterday. I'm not going to show it you because it was all chins. It wasn't from this flattering angle, but it got pretty much every word. It was far better than YouTube's auto caption and way better than Facebook's auto caption. Really, really good stuff. The other advantage to this is perfect Facebook video stuff. Because we know, well, I hope all of you watching have put the sound on, but we know that people don't click to play a video. They don't want to listen to the sound. They'll watch the captions for a little bit. If they think it's worth listening to, they tune in. This is perfect. Before you'd have to use a tool and you'd have to get all complicated to make something nice. This makes really nice square caption video. And I can't remember the statistic exactly, but Mari Smith at Social Media Summit was saying that square video is, I think it was like 23% more likely to be watched through to the end. So square video is the way to go. Definitely check out Apple Clips. I don't know if it's iPhone and Android. I can tell you it's definitely iPhone. And I will take a more flattering video maybe later on, caption it and put it up so we can have a look at it. Totally brilliant. Right, the only news I have left now, I have one bit more of Instagram news, and I'm going to have to look to see what that is. And I have Messenger news. So I'm going to share the Messenger news because this one is interesting. We don't have this yet in Ireland. I'm thinking almost everyone there is in Ireland at the moment. We recently got Apple Pay, but it's only very, very small. You have to be with Ulster Bank. You have to have a fancy phone. But a while ago, Facebook introduced a method where people within the US could send payments to each other through Messenger. And they've just put that out so that you can have a group Messenger payment system. This could be really handy because at the moment I'm organising a hen night and there's, you know, a lot of people involved there, 10 or 15. And last night I just booked stuff for that 10 or 15 people, which is hard on your bank balance. Whew, telling you. And at the moment I'm just kind of going on faith that they're all going to give me the money next week. But wouldn't it be cool if I could have set up a group payment within Messenger so that they could all pay me then and there through Messenger? Then let's look at Marketplace, where people are able to sell, you know, individual items. You can actually do that through Marketplace, which is a tool from Facebook, or you can do it through, of course, Facebook groups. So again, tying into the importance of groups. And you can like organise payment that way. I mean, it's really good. What I see for small businesses is that although we can't do this yet, in the future we'll actually be able to do our transactions within Facebook. So people, and particularly this is going to work really well with chatbots. If you haven't heard of chatbots yet, go look them up. They're going to be huge, I think, particularly if you're in the retail industry. So a chatbot will be able to actually sell your stuff and the payment will be able to be finished through Facebook Messenger. I think that's going to be brilliant. I've got 8 minutes left, so I'm ahead of schedule. Have I been talking very fast? And I know there's loads of new places here today, so I'm just going to, before I go on to the last bit of news, I'm just going to say, if you're not in my Small Business Bloggers Facebook group, seeing as we're talking about groups so much, search for Small Business Bloggers Spiderworking, find my group, come and join me where we can continue this conversation afterwards. Also, when I finish, if you want a reminder of my next show, next Friday at 9:30 AM, if you think you might forget, I've got a mailing list just for that. So you just get a reminder Friday, 1 hour before the show. You'll find that at spiderworking.com/Facebook Live. On to my last bit of news, though, which is Instagram. I told you I'm going to have to look this one up. Why have I got face? Oh, yes. Oh, this is the big news. Instagram stories are now used by 200 million. That figure sounds wrong. I'm going to have to double check it. Yeah, it's real. 200 million people per day on Instagram stories. And I'm still rarely one of them. And the reason that number is significant is that Snapchat has 161 million daily users. So does that mean the death of Snapchat? I would be worried if I was Snapchat. I do hope that their camera company works out, because I think that is where they'll be able to stand out. You know, Facebook currently doesn't have any physical products. They are being very innovative. I want the Snapchat spectacles, even though I don't use Snapchat very often. I think it would make me use it. But is that the death toll sounding for Snapchat? If you're a business using Snapchat, I'd say now's the time to look elsewhere. Now's the time to go start using Instagram stories, Messenger Day. You can even do it within WhatsApp now. Definitely, you know, you've learnt the skills on Snapchat. You just need to move platform. But I do think this is bad news for Snapchat. That's a downer to end on for Easter, isn't it? Okay, well, happy Easter. Do come join my Facebook group. I'd love to see you there where we can continue conversations. If you're a blogger, there'll be a thread going up just about now. in 6 minutes time, where you can leave a link to your latest blog post and ask for comments, and all you have to do is comment in return. So I'd love to see some of you over there. Thanks so much for joining. I'll be back with you again next week, 9:30 a.m. Goodbye.